Welcome to Fortress of Faith with Tom Wallace. Strengthening the saints against Islam's assault on North America.
Welcome back once again to the corner of truth and courage. You're listening to Fortress of Faith. And today, folks, we are sadly remembering the infamous attack on our nation on September 11, 2001. This is a painful day for our nation still. And I hope that we will continue to remember and memorialize the lives of those who perished in this jihadi Islamic attack on our nation. Today I want to cover 9/11 by the numbers. I want to give you some numbers. I want you to think about them because they matter. The first number I want to give you is 318. That number is significant because on the same date, September 11, 318 years before we were attacked, the armies of Islam were defeated at the gates of Vienna on September 11, 1683. And this date has stuck in the minds of Muslims because their effort to try to take the Christians and to take Europe from the Christian nations and make them Islamic nations, they failed, and they were pushed back 318 years prior. That's why this date was chosen for the attack, because it's a date that's significant to the Islamic world. Another number, 19. It was 19 Al-Qaeda hijackers, Islamic jihadis, who thought that they were doing Allah's business and that they would enter into the life of reward of dying as shaheeds. In the Islamic world, these people were celebrated as 19 heroes, shaheeds, those who receive the greatest honor and have the reward of Allah as martyrs for the cause of Islam. And yet these 19 people brought the death of many other thousands of innocent people here in this land. Another number I want to give you is 24. That was the average age of these Islamic jihadi attackers. Young adults, just 24 years of age was the average age of these 19 attackers. Another number, 87. 87 innocent souls were on board American Airlines Flight 11. In addition to the 5 Muslim terrorists that took that plane and deliberately flew it into the north side of Tower 1 of the World Trade Center, killing many others. But 87 innocent people were on board. Another number I want to give you is 60. Remember that number. 60 more innocent people were killed when 5 other Islamic terrorists hijacked American Airlines Flight 175 from Boston and flew that plane deliberately into the South Tower. Another number I want you to remember, number 17. 17 minutes after Tower 1 was hit, American Airlines Flight 175 struck the South Tower on live TV, confirming to the world that we were under attack. This was not an accident of what had happened earlier. We knew a terrorist attack was on us. Another number I want to give you, 59. 59 innocent souls were on board American Airways Flight 77, which departed from Dulles Airport with 5 other jihadi terrorists on board. Another number I want to give you, 184. That flight ended prematurely 35 minutes later, killing 184 soldiers as it crashed into the Pentagon at 9:37 a.m. Another number I want to give you, 40. 40 innocent souls died when heroic passengers failed to take back the aircraft from the terrorist from United Airlines Flight 93. And as that flight tragically crashed in central Pennsylvania, their actions, their brave actions, averted an attack on America's presidential house. 40 heroes on that flight who tried to take back the plane from 4 Islamic jihadi terrorists. Another number I have for you is 102. 102 minutes after Flight 11 hit the North Tower, it began to collapse. 56 is another number I want to give you. It only took 56 minutes after American Flight 175 hit the South Tower, it collapsed. Another number I want to give you is 414. 414 brave first responders, instead of running from the disaster, ran to the place of crisis at the World Trade Center. And 414 of them lost their lives trying to save the lives of others. 343 of them were firemen. 71 of them were New York City's finest, the policemen. Another number, 2,192. 2,192. Think of that. Just let that number sink in. Civilians died in the New York City attacks. 2,192. This does include the 10 hijackers. Another number I want to give you is 12. For 12 days, the fires burned there at Ground Zero. Another number is 20. 20 people, thankfully, were rescued and found amidst the twisted metal and rubbled mess that was left there at Ground Zero after that attack. Thankfully, 20 lives were saved. Another number I want to give you is 24. 24 tons of steel from Ground Zero were recycled, donated to the U.S. Navy, which has constructed now the USS New York, a fighting vessel for America. And there they stand for our bravery. And that vessel is made from 24 tons of that wreckage of that attack at Ground Zero. Another number I want to give you is 2,000. Over 2,000 cars and trucks, personal vehicles were lost in the parking garages at the World Trade Center. Another number is 1.8. 1.8 million tons of debris were removed from Ground Zero. Another number I want to give you is 3,519. It took 3,519 days to capture Osama bin Laden after we were attacked on 9/11. He was found and killed by SEAL Team 6 in Abbottabad in Pakistan. 3,519 days after the attack. Another number I want to give you is, sadly, 241. Since the attack, there have been others who've died from 9/11 related illnesses. You saw it, I saw it, all that dust and debris and things that had caused, for some, cancer and lung disease and other related disease. 241 New York City police have died since the attack of 9/11. The destruction still goes on. Another number, 22. 22 firemen have died from 9/11 related diseases. Another number I want to give you is 120. 120 months after the attack, the 9/11 memorial at Ground Zero was officially opened 10 years later. Another number, though, I want to give you is 122. 122 months after the attack of 9/11, Obama's FBI director, Robert Mueller, and Homeland Security advisor, John Brennan, ordered the purging of any offensive Islamic terms from the training manuals for the military, the intelligence communities, and law enforcement communities. They whitewashed the manuals and tried to take away anything that would mark Islam as being a part of this attack. 122 months. 10 years and 2 months after the attack, our government, under the direction of President Obama and the FBI Director Robert Mueller and Home Security Advisor John Brennan, ordered the manuals to be purged. Of that, another number, 900 training documents were removed from the training of our military, intelligence community, and law enforcement. 126 is another number I want you to remember. 126 times the term jihad was found in the original 9/11 report. When the report was released, the term jihad was found there 126 times. Today, if you look at that report, you'll find the term jihad 0 times. It's been removed. It's been scrubbed. A whitewash had occurred in our government to try to ease the tension with us in the Islamic world and the Muslims that live amongst us, thus tying and blinding the eyes of our investigators from acting on a way to protect our nation from an enemy, from an ideology that is bent for our destruction. Folks, we said we would never forget. I'm afraid some have forgotten. You know, I've found in this world there are givers and takers. And we are, sadly, I think, developing a nation of takers, of people who seem to have lost their understanding to have appreciation for our nation. I hear some reports from students in colleges in California who say they don't owe America anything. We're raising kids, a generation where they are not appreciating and loving our country. Rather, they're hating our country. And sadly, these are people that are coming out of our colleges today, and they're the professors that are in there that are poisoning the minds of our youth. A lot of people soon will not know what happened on 9/11 if we don't speak up and to keep upholding the memory as a memorial of this tragedy that occurred. And it's becoming more and more popular to remove the idea or the notion that it was Islamic terrorists that attacked us. Folks, we must speak the truth. We invite you here every day at the corner of truth and courage, not to just know the truth and to hear the truth, but to also have the courage to speak the truth. Yes, we'll speak the truth with love, but we will speak the truth. I say it often, you're seldom persuasive when you're abrasive. We don't need to be abrasive in the manner in which we deliver the truth, but we must still stand and speak for the truth. And so this day we remember the tragedy and these awful numbers, because these numbers sadly reflect lives. And it's also a reflection of an attempt to try to distort the truth, and we must uphold it. Continue to pray for our nation. Join us again tomorrow at the corner of Truth and Courage. God bless you.